to love this question. Does man have a free will? Because obviously we're not robots. I can't even control my own kids to do what they want to do, their homework, right? But does man have a free will, or we're just on this plane and everything's been taken care of? Explain that question real quick.
Well, a better way to put it, Pastor Sean, is viability. Is there real viability? Okay, now I'll explain what that means.
Explain viability.
Viability means it is absolutely true free will. Or do we have partial free will? Okay, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, for the reformists, they understood through the Calvin doctrine that sovereignty and free will does not work. Because if a man truly has free will, he can oppose God, making him not sovereign. And so how we answered that question before was God, before he created, was sovereign because he was the only one that existed, and chose to submit to a law that was on an equal playing field, and he whipped the devil basically in a fair match, okay? And that's why the bones of Moses, if we talk about that in another segment, was so important, because the devil felt like God was operating outside of the law, which he had the keys of death and hell. Where are the bones at? What are you doing? Right. So he was really suspicious of that. So how does free will work with sovereignty? Well, one has to give, and the one that gave was God, in order to have a true free will being, so that that true free will being would not love him out of, demand. And I'll tell you a great example of that, okay?
Right.
I have a little puppy dog that I haven't had. I didn't want one because mine got killed when I was 5 years old, and I said, I'm not going through that trauma no more.
Right.
And I really lost the understanding of true puppy love, okay? Right. But this dog that we got laid upon us by my grandchildren, okay, 9 months old at that time, was afraid of men. I just found out Saturday that the husband would yell at the woman who the dog was attached to, so the dog hated the husband. And so when the dog came to my house, he was automatically against me, and Ruth, it became Ruth's dog.
Right.
So there's two ways that people train dogs. You can put a choke collar on it with a shaka, do this, bam, bam, and hitting the dog. And so out of fear, okay, you can make the dog do whatever you want it to do.
Right.
But does that dog really love you?
Right.
Yeah, look,
right.
Or as I did with this little dog, I just showed it a lot of love, and I petted it, and it would run from me. Even to this day, it's not fully there. It crawls to me like, almost like in fear. It's getting better.
Right.
But love, you see, it's like a prenuptial. The old covenant, it was conditional, okay? But true love says whatever I have belongs to you, and that's why we're joint heirs with Jesus Christ. So God truly wanted free will. In fact, Pastor Sean, if a person doesn't understand that dynamic, that God had to submit his sovereignty to a law that he said, I'm going to play by everybody's rules. Right. And that's what he did. He beat the devil on a fair playing field. He didn't use his power to defeat him. He used humility. He used the fact that he qualified under the virgin birth, not having original sin, to become the spotless lamb, qualifying him to take our sins and absolving us from any guilt under the law. And the law now has to declare us righteous, perfect, and holy. So not only is free will important, it's vital. It's vital to what God wanted to achieve. Now watch the beauty of this. God knew, okay, that he would give Adam, all right, all the authority. Psalm 8 says, who is man, who is the son of man, that you would visit him? You made him a little bit lower than the angels, but then you crowned him over all the works of your fingers. So what God did, and Ephesians expresses this, what God did was gave all authority in this priesthood to Adam, and Adam was to raise up progeny, and like Job, he offered sacrifices for his kids. God set him up as the first mediator and priest, but he failed in rebellion. So God, he gave it to Satan, and Satan used it prosecutorially. Jesus came back and took back that authority from Satan by how? When Satan killed and condemned an innocent man, Deuteronomy 27:25, if a man takes a bribe and condemns innocent blood, what happens? Okay, he's cursed. So when the devil entered Judas, took a bribe, God offered himself, according to Zechariah 11, for 30 pieces of silver because it was enough to buy the field. That was a contractual agreement. He did everything according to the law to take back. Now watch the beauty of this. I never understood this till recently. Ephesians 1 says that he might gather unto himself, that's Jesus, who we know as God manifested in the flesh. That he might gather unto himself all things that are in heaven and in earth. Wait, I was under the impression you were in control of everything. What God did, Pastor Sean, is he knew that man, by virtue of just creating him, just like you can have a child, you could procreate, but that doesn't make you a father. Okay? And what makes a father is how he takes care of that child and nurtures that child, right? So God knew by virtue of just creating man with a free will, man would just not automatically, oh, I love you, I praise you, glorify you, okay? And so he gave a free will demands choice. That's what viability means, okay? It had to be real choice, okay? Did they truly have free will? Did they truly have choice? And they did. And God knew they would choose wrong. God knew that Adam would give everything to Satan because in Matthew 4, when the temptations of Jesus Christ on the mountain happened, one of the temptations was, worship me and I will give you the kingdoms of this world. So the reality is Adam gave all of his authority over to Satan, and then Jesus, out of this act of compassion, love, and just this incredible act of sacrifice, coming in humility, being born in a manger, walking a humble life, living a humble life, keeping the law perfectly, and going to the cross. And that cross now represents a love, Pastor Sean, that now makes a rogue like me, okay? Makes a rogue like me fall in love with him with a free will. And that's the gospel. Because he won my love. He won your love. He won everybody that understands it love. And now he's got a free will being that can't be condemned by a law that I can't keep. And yet he loves me unconditionally. So yes, we have free will.
We have free will. And just to add to that, you know, when all this, or before the Lord, when we see what Jesus has done, we're going to realize how wonderful he is, but also we can't put the blame on anybody. Can't put the blame on God because everything was there for us. Can't put the blame on the devil. Can't put the blame on your mom, your dad. It's a free will. And that way God takes care of it.